Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Star Fox Zero walkthrough. We are on Last Line of Defense, Sector B, Reunited with a Friend. This is 313 hits to get a gold medal, which is what I'm going to be showing you. And this is one of my favourite missions in the game. This is very hectic, it gets real, insane real quick, and there's a lot of opportunities for great scoring, because if you look in front of me, there's a bunch of those battle cruisers, and each of those battle cruisers has turrets on it what will get you hits, and if you destroy the cruiser itself, it'll get you a nice bulk load of hits, and it's just a nice space battle, which I find to be really fun. This is when I think Star Fox is at its most fun, when you're doing this kind of stuff, and coming off that previous level, where it's the most mundane, bullshit, dull nonsense that I don't enjoy, this is definitely my cup of tea, to be stereotypically English. But the strategy here is pretty simple, guys. You want to prioritize hitting all the turrets on these vehicles and then destroying these vehicles. And you'll notice that I'm getting knocked around a bit by being aggressive. There are a couple of ways that you can be more evasive if you want to. One of them is by spinning the analog. You'll make your ship do this spin, which gives you a lot of iframes. You can do the loop-the-loop stuff, or the quick U-turns, or you can just, commit to being insane and go head first like I'm doing. It all works, and there are health pickups dotted around the area, and when you destroy these cruisers, a lot of the times they drop the health pickups as well, so just be alert, keep moving forward, and kick some ass. A really fun level. But in the last video, we were talking about Platinum's track record, which is the developer that made this game, if you're not too sure, and we were talking about how it has some games in 30 frames per second, some games in 60, and how some of them have been hit and miss recently, depending on who manned the teams and what those IPs were. And you might be thinking, well, why are you talking about frame rate so much? You're not Digital Foundry. Which, did you know Digital Foundry have been on YouTube since like 2010? That's insane. I'm so glad that channel is getting more attention and growing, because it's one of those that really deserves it. They designed technology to measure performance in games. They've got production value there, they've got a high quality. It's a wonderful, wonderful channel, and it does great things if you're interested in the very technical side of video games. And I'm not going to lie, I watch those PC videos, I'm not entirely sure what they're talking about when they're talking about all this anthroposcopic filtering and all this other shit that sounds fantastic, but I sit there smiling thinking, I'm so glad these people do. And, every little helps. But they're fantastic for just learning the mechanical side of what goes into games and what makes things look good. But frame rate is an interesting question, because a lot of people don't understand what it affects in games. Oh, by the way, to get through this force field, you want to go through the hole that the lasers pierce, but be careful, because if you touch the lasers, you take big damage. I, of course, are going to prioritise enemies because we're trying to score. We're going to milk all the score we can before we go in. I'm not going to go into massive detail about frame rate because it's not worth it. The best thing to do is to just look into it, guys. If you Google it and you look into what the human eye can handle and the difference between frame rates, a lot of the times they'll use these GIFs where it shows you a cube bouncing. It shows you one at 30, one at 60, and if you can't see a difference in that, I would definitely try and get your eyes checked, because you might be in need of glasses or something like that, which is not me being insulting, it's just, don't you want to see the world as it is rather than as your eyes are telling you it is, which might not be true. I definitely do. Which is why I would never have a problem with wearing glasses, because essentially glasses are there to help you. I know some people don't like them, and if you're in school and you're young, you can get bullied and shit, but trust me, dudes, it's worth it to have your eyes functioning as best as they can. And I don't want to get into the philosophical notion that we perceive the world very specifically as it's translated by our brain from what our eyes see, and we kind of sculpt it in ways we want it to look, which is a valid thing. I'm not going to say it's not. We all, everybody sees the difference of beauty when we look at a girl, and your friend goes, look at her, isn't she hot? And you're like, which one, the beaked whale or the mammoth? And you're just like, what? How can you say that? But to you, you don't like them. They look like dogs chewing rocks. Yeah, to him, he's hearing Christy Burr and Lady in Red is playing, and it's all slow motion, and he's seen his future wife. Because it's very personal, that kind of stuff. But what I will say is, just from the science perspective of it, 30 frames per second gives you 30 frames per second to react, to respond, and That's how much information your eyes gets to see. Your eye gets to see 30 individual moments of information per second, and that is 30 individual moments per second in which the controller can take a reaction from you, an input. Now if you double it, you are seeing twice the amount of information per second. It's going to lead to a much smoother fidelity on your eye and what you can see and how games can be visible, and you will have twice the amount of time per second to react and to input, so that that input gets registered rather than getting lost between the cracks. And you might be wondering, well, when I play in 30, I see everything perfectly, everything's fine, you know, I don't see any gaps, and I can react and I can respond and I can do everything and I can aim really well. And you can. That's 100% true, guys, because the human eye is an absolute monster. The human eye will interpret any kind of footage, and after a while it will do its best to interpolate between those frames to give you the best vision you can get, and you will adjust to that frame rate and it will just seem like normal to you. It's just, that's the beauty of how our bodies have been designed. But it does not get away from the fact that twice the amount of information is always better. That's just objective, that, guys, as much as you might want to argue it. And I'm not here to, you know, to try and force this down people's throat. This is not our frame rate, our Lord and Saviour. Please eat a part of its wonderful numbers. You know, not what it's about at all. What it is about is Star Fox, and we are in a dogfight. So let's talk about that, shall we? So at this moment, your team is going to be attacked by the... is it Star Wolf? I always forget these names. I'm very sorry, hardcore Star Fox fans. I'm just... I just don't know them, and I can't commit them to memory at the moment. But you're going to be in a dogfight. My recommendations here is if anybody gets on your ass, do the flip, then shoot them in the back. Use your bombs if you've got any. Use your lasers over charged shots to deal the most damage, because it's so powerful. And I believe this is a sequence where if you kill all these people quickly before they destroy Peppy, you can go to an optional stage rather than going to save Peppy. But we might actually be on the wrong level, so don't quote me on that. But there are lots of hidden accomplishments in these moments where if you do a certain requirement, the level goes a little bit differently. So there's a lot to experiment with. There's some interesting stuff. And I think you can agree from just watching this to where I am right now. Does this look to you like an unplayable game? Does this look to you like, you know, one of the worst games released this year? No. Is it a little bit unambitious because it's essentially retreading a game that they made back in '97 or whenever Lilac Wars came out? Yeah, it is. It kind of really is, as Wolf comes in, the Star Wolf leader. And I think he's going to target Peppy now, so what we want to do is try our best to knock him out. If you can knock out the other members, you can get those bonus hits, and they're definitely going to help. So what I'm doing right now is I'm on the controller, and I'm looking at him and trying to shoot him. So that's what I was doing just then. I can't tell you how successful we were. We didn't kill him, but, you know, I could have been hitting every shot, you just never saw it, because it was on the pad. He's dead now, so fuck you. Nice 30 points. He's up our ass, so let's get on him. And try and damage this dude. See me hitting him with bombs? You might get a bonus here for killing Wolf, so that's what we're going to try and do. There's a big heal. Not too sure what it means when your score goes orange like that. Does it mean we've got the bronze score at that point? I'm not too sure. Or is it just telling us that we're on par for a decent score or something? Mechanics I couldn't tell you, guys. One day's worth of experience with this game. But yeah, that was a great one. Keep hitting him. Keep on his tail. Don't let him get away. Look at him. Look at how much it destroys him if you can keep him in that splash. You know, straight up. Absolutely devastating. And then you lose him and you do the whole turning around like an idiot for 20 minutes. And here we go. And there he goes. So Wolf's down. This might be a mission accomplished rather than a mission complete because we did that. I'm not too sure though, guys. All the levels kind of mingle into one for me. Yeah, it is. Look, that's the alternative way of finishing that mission. If you want to find out what all those are, there's a ton of stuff online. I was looking into them to see what the secret missions were, because I was hoping some of the secret missions were going to be great. And then it turned out a lot of the secret missions were shit, and I didn't like them. But there you go, guys. We are all the way up there for the gold medal, and that's the end of the mission. Thank you very much for watching, and you take care now.